This piece particularly had a big effect on Mozart, who you can actually hear bits of Idomeneo, which was written sometime after this piece. He almost lifts them out of this piece. So it was heavily influential on Mozart, just on Mozart. This piece is considered to be a reform opera, which was a time period when they were reacting against the formal opera seria kind of layout of opera, where there were a few characters who, all of whom had a certain prescribed number of arias, and they had to have, one or two fast arias, one or two slow arias. So the opera begins after Eurydice has died. So you enter the opera in this mourning scene. And from there, there's a long period where you're kind of just following Orpheus through his grief in these absolutely gorgeous arias and choruses and dances. So this is a wonderful work for a college ensemble, because there are, for one thing, the chorus has a very big role in the piece. They're on stage all the time. They have a lot of music to sing. And each one of them, in a sense, I've told them that they're all soloists, because while they're singing together, we can see them individually, and they really have to know the text. They have to sing it beautifully, and they have to really carry the drama quite a bit. Then we have our three principal characters whose music, I would say, is very well written for the voice. I think particularly for young voices, it's very approachable. It asks for a really good technique in singing. So I think it's really appropriate for these students to be working on this piece. In the orchestra, likewise, first of all, it's a very big orchestra. There are many, many instruments, lots of winds. And the string parts are quite virtuosic, so it's asking a lot of the players. There's wonderful moments of percussion that we've added to kind of give some effect. And there's a beautiful harp part as well. So the orchestra has a lot of variety in it. I've told them as we've rehearsed that playing this opera is actually very difficult and very challenging, and I hope that they've learned a lot by doing it. So we're performing Orpheus and Eurydice in this beautiful space called Jarvis Opera Hall, which you see around me. And it is an extraordinary theater, I must say. Haymarket Opera Company, which I direct, performs here. And so I spend a lot of time in this theater. It's acoustically ideal. It's for every person in the audience, you have a perfect view of the stage. It's fantastic for the voices, for the singers, because they don't ever have to force any sound. They can sing as lightly as they like, they can sing as softly as they like, so there's a great deal of nuance that's possible in this space. It's also aesthetically beautiful. I love being in this room. It feels very warm. I think it's really one of the best venues in Chicago.